Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Toronto, and that's a good place to be right now. It is 30 degrees in Toronto, and why not get out there by that fountain and enjoy a little cool breeze before you step inside Rogers Center? Blue Jays are glad to be home. They're 28-19 at home, 50-50 for the season, and the Philadelphia Phillies from the NL East are in town. Pete Buchanan, the former Expo, is the manager. He took over after Brian Sandberg stepped down on June 26. The Blue Jays take the field, and they are 50-50 as we mentioned. Felix Dubron will start today, and of course, Pat, everybody buzzing about the news. Jose Reyes has been dealt to the Colorado Rockies. In return, the Blue Jays get LaTroy Hawkins, who's in the pen tonight, and Troy Tulowitzki. Take a look at the lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies. Top of the order, Cesar Hernandez is the second baseman, and Ben Revere, the former Minnesota Twin, has put up good numbers against the Toronto Blue Jays. 12 for 32 in his career. He has scored 4 runs. He's left-handed, batting second, and then right behind him is Michael Franco, the third baseman, and this rookie's putting up big numbers in interleague play this year. 10 for 29. He's got 4 homers and 13 RBIs, and he has really been a pleasant surprise for the Phillies at third.
Yeah, hitting in the middle of that lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies, who are swinging the bat a lot better. Felix Dubron was signed by Toronto on May the 2nd. He was activated from the Buffalo Bison's AAA team on May the 13th. He was very good in AAA, 9 starts with a 244 earned run average, so the Blue Jays brought him up here. He's making his 4th start of 2015 and 5th appearance. This is his first appearance as a Blue Jay here at Rogers Center. It's also his debut versus the Phillies. Pitched pretty good in his last start against Oakland. Got a no decision, pitching 4 2/3 innings.
Well, the Blue Jays defensively set up on this first of 10 games here at home. Danny Blanche is in left with the left-hander on the mound. Kevin Pillar's in center, Jose Bautista in right, Josh Donaldson at third, Ryan Goins starts with a 28 time at shortstop, Devin Travis and Encarnacion on the right side of the infield. Russell Martin is behind the plate, Felix Dubron on the mound.
Well, you talk about Tulowitzki, but we will not see him until tomorrow, so Ryan Goins will get the start. The last start at shortstop came July the 9th at the Chicago White Sox. He's made 5 errors this year, 3 of them at shortstop in 34 games for the Blue Jays. He is a wizard, I think, defensively on this carpet. He'll get the start tonight.
He has really played well when he has played at shortstop, committed 3 errors. LaTroy Hawkins there in the white uniform. You see his number 32. The veteran LaTroy Hawkins has appeared in 1,024 games. That's the most among active players. Dubron delivers a strike, and we are underway. This is Cesar Hernandez. He's a switch hitter, batting right-handed. Dubron gets the ground ball. Goins gets a test early on. 1 up, 1 down for Dubron.
That's what you're seeing, a little bit more ground balls from Felix Dubron when he's got that curveball and he's throwing it over for strikes. When he's got the changeup over for strikes, when you keep the ball down like that, you're going to get more ground balls.
Sometimes lefty pitchers like Dubron take a little while to develop, but now he seems to understand what that curveball and low strike fastball can do for him. This is Ben Revere. We mentioned his good numbers against the Blue Jays. Revere for the season batting .302.
Got a lot of speed, and he will drop down bunts. So Josh Donaldson on the left side at Encarnacion. On the right side, we're playing him the bunt.
There's a strike. It's now 2-1. Revere's a real speed merchant, but he hasn't had the ability to hit leadoff on a consistent basis. Nice play by Encarnacion. Takes an extra base hit away from Ben Revere. Edwin at first base has committed just 2 errors.
That's going to be 2, maybe 3 with the way Ben Revere can run, and it worked out for the Blue Jays because they had him in against the bunt. This ball hit hard. He picks it on 1 bounce. He doesn't have to flip the ball to the pitcher. You can see Dubron is still not even in your picture on that one right there, but because he was so close, he could take it himself.
2 up, 2 down for Dubron. This is Michael Franco, the third baseman. Good numbers across the board for the rookie. 63 games this season.
Phillies are coming off a series against the Chicago Cubs where they really hit the ball and really took it to the Cubbies.
21 extra base hits in the 3-game series. They swept the Cubs. Coming out of the All-Star break, they are 8-1, second only to the San Francisco Giants, who are 9-1.
And they're scoring more runs. 5 runs or more in 6 or 7 games. And to a man, they all say they're being a little bit more aggressive at the plate.
That's a pretty good pitch right there. Catches the inside corner. 2-2. There's the good curveball. Nice start for DeBron to begin this ball game. The throw to first completes the strikeout. 3 up, 3 down. Well, the Blue Jays have a new leadoff hitter, at least for tonight. It'll be Devin Travis taking over for the traded Jose Reyes. Adam Morgan will face the Blue Jays when we come back. His ball game, 3 up, 3 down. The Phillies are retired in order. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons' Blue Jays. 3-3 on the road trip. Overall, kind of a disappointing road trip with a chance to make it a 4-2 finish out west. Josh Donaldson, he had a good road trip and he's had a good season against lefty pitching. 338 for the season. 14 extra base hits and 16 RBIs. And Kevin Pillar, against the National League East this season, he's 14 for 41. 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. You remember, he had a couple of home runs against the Nationals down in D.C., and that really got him going for the season.
Got him going and got the team going. This is Adam Morgan for his 6th start of the season. He's only thrown 27 in the 3rd inning. Something to watch. He's given up 5 home runs in those 27 innings. He was originally a 3rd-round draft pick by the Phillies back in June of 2011. He missed all of 2014. With a shoulder injury, recovering from that left shoulder surgery. He doesn't throw hard. He's going to have to spot his fastball.
This is Devin Travis taking one upstairs. Travis for the season hitting .302, second among American League rookies. He's had a good start to his rookie season. There's a drive to left. Get up ball. Devin Travis. 1-0 Blue Jays. That's the first home run Travis has hit since he's come off the disabled list, and the Blue Jays are out in front.
How's that for your leadoff hitter? 8th home run of the season. Devin Travis doesn't waste any time against Adam Morgan and getting the Blue Jays on the board early. Told you he's given up 5 home runs in just 27 in the 3rd inning, so he's got a history of giving up some home runs, and it doesn't take long for Travis to get the Blue Jays on the board.
That's his second career leadoff home run. His third home run of the season, batting in the #1 spot. This is a no-doubter.
Yeah, they got out of here very quickly down the left field line. And just like that, 2 pitches in, 1-0.
You can see Devin Travis saying he's straight, man. So that little leadoff man gives some information to the rest of his teammates. Phillies were kind of concerned about this matchup. The Blue Jays and their powerful bats against this young left-hander. The Phillies have allowed more hits and the most home runs in the National League. They've given up 113 home runs now.
And it's a really tough combination. Left-handed pitcher for the Phillies, lots of right-handed power for the Blue Jays. And Blue Jays have had their way against the Phillies lately.
Blue Jays have won 8 straight games against the Philadelphia Phillies. That's the longest active win streak in interleague play.
And in those 8 games that the Blue Jays have won, they have hit 16 home runs coming into this game. It's been a big problem for them.
That's the longest interleague streak in Blue Jays franchise history. They've got some big bats in their lineup, obviously. Bob McClure is the pitching coach. Larry Bowa is the bench coach for the manager, Pete Buchanan. Former Blue Jay Juan Samuel, first base coach. Donaldson will take ball 4. That's another thing that Blue Jays do very well. They don't swing at borderline pitches.
One more time on this home run swing, and his approach is outstanding. And that pitch that comes on the inner half, he's just a little bit quicker. He shortens things up just a little bit. I was talking to him today, and I asked him where he got that great right field stroke. He said, my father taught it to me when I was a kid to stay on top of it.
Look at his eyes, how they're focused on that baseball. He kept his head down and he tracked that ball right to the point of contact. Donaldson aboard for Bautista. Devin Travis in his first go around in the leadoff spot hit 195. He was filling in for the injured Reyes at that point. Jose Bautista having another very productive season. 21-66 for Jose.
You know, but that wasn't the same Devin Travis that we saw in April.
Ground ball. Blanco to Hernandez back to first. Bautista's out on the double play.
You know, we saw Travis in April, and he was swinging the bat. Then he had that shoulder problem, and that's when Jose got hurt, and Devin took over as the hitter, the leadoff hitter. He wasn't the same guy, was he?
Not at all. And I think, too, being a rookie, he probably felt I better take some pitches, and he's not a guy that takes a lot of pitches. He's a swinger and a good hitter. So now there are 2 outs, nobody on for Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin hit 273 on the 6-game road trip. He hit a double and a home run. He drove in a pair of runs. Edwin started his career with the Cincinnati Reds in the big leagues. He was originally signed by the Texas Rangers. He was drafted by Texas. And you say, well, how was he drafted? He didn't grow up in the Dominican Republic. Well, he went to high school in Puerto Rico. And those high school players are subject to the Major League draft. That's pulled foul outside of third. 1-0 Blue Jays here in the bottom of the first. Nothing like home cooking for the Jays.
Well, they've got such a great record here at home. And they are tailor-made, I think, for this ballpark with the great power hitters that they have in their lineup.
Encarnacion strikes out. Double play and a strikeout, but the Blue Jays jump out in front of Philadelphia. Devin Travis with 8 home runs. He continues to say, I'm not a home run hitter, but he starts the game with a long ball. The Blue Jays have homered in 10 straight games, 16 home runs in total.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. You know, while the Tulowitzki for Reyes trade happened late last night and early this morning, the background of it actually began in the off-season when Colorado and Toronto began talking about the two shortstops. They weren't able to come to a deal then. The talks continued in May and then June and into the All-Star break. It wasn't until Jeff Hoffman was added into the mix that suddenly the two sides came together, and now Troy Tulowitzki is a Blue Jay. Will anybody else? Well, we'll find out on Friday with the trade deadline, and Buck will have a special MLB Central trade deadline special Friday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
Well, Rash, that's a good opportunity for the fans to keep track of everything that's going on. We will all make contributions to that. That ball is lined to the second baseman, Devin Shermish. 1 down. Jeff Francoeur has been playing very well for the Phillies of late. Francoeur with 9 home runs. He lines out to start the inning.
Swinging early and often, he said. I got to see the ball and just let it go. Kind of what the Phillies have been doing to score all their runs lately.
This is Ryan Howard, the big first baseman, in the 5th spot tonight. 18 home runs and 53 RBIs for Ryan Howard. Not too bad offensively, but you look at the batting average, it's .226 for Howard. Howard is the DH in this interleague game. He naturally plays first base in the National League games. He leads the team in doubles with 19 and home runs with 18. Fouls this one back. One of the big problems for Howard all season long has been his inability to hit lefty pitching. When you look at where Howard is among the leaders in the National League, he is a distant end of the list when you look at Howard's numbers. You got the lowest batting average against lefty pitching in the National League, hitting .139.
He's a free swinger. He rarely walks. He strikes out a lot, so that's why you see the low batting average, but he will produce. You mentioned the 18 and 53 RBIs.
And there's another good curveball.
You know, the big thing for Felix Doubront, we mentioned it already, the curveball and the changeup, but the curveball chase percentage, you can see they're starting to go after the ball just a little bit more this season than they have the last couple of seasons. When you do that, when you show them a good curveball and you have the ability to throw it for a strike, you're going to get the team starting to swing at it. Then you drop a 2-strike pitch like that, you expand the strike zone, and you pick up a strikeout.
So Howard strikes out. That's the 97th time this season he has struck out. This ball is popped in the air. That's going to be into the seats off the bat of Darren Ruff. Ruff is the catcher. I'm sorry, he's the first baseman tonight, with Howard serving as the DH.
He's got some power. It's a big home run seasons in the minor leagues, but it just hasn't been able to transfer that to the big leagues.
That's foul. He got jammed. That was right in on his fifth. 2-2, 2 outs.
We have seen Darren Ruff in the outfield. We've also seen him at first base. They got him there this night to give Howard a chance to DH, get him off his feet. Ruff had a season a couple of years ago where he hit 38 home runs in the minor leagues. Drove in 104 runs, but just hasn't had that type of power yet in the big leagues.
And he'll take ball 4. That's the first base runner to reach for Philadelphia. A 2-out walk here in the second. Cody Ashe is the left fielder. Started out as a third baseman. They feel much more comfortable with him in left field. It seems to have freed up his bat a bit. Bounced in the dirt. Martin's got a shot. Here's the throw to second. And what a tag by Goins. Oh, my. That was on the shortstop side of the bag. And instead of coming around, he followed the momentum of that throw, circled around behind the base, and put the tag on Ruff. Watch the tag here, and he dives back over the base, going right to the front edge of second.
And pounced out right there. Look at Joe West right on top of that. He slides right into his glove. I didn't think they had any shot at it. What a play by Goins to end the second.
Strong throw by Martin. Good tag by Goins.
And Mr. Martinez, only one autograph per person, so you can only bring one baseball when you head over to the shopping center, man.
So they both got to sign the same baseball? That's a tough one, Arash. Great chance to meet a couple of great Blue Jays, fine young men, Colabello and Osuna. This is Chris Colabello, notorious first ball hitter. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it off.
Why not? Got a left-hander out there. Sure, Colabello is facing somewhere in the minor leagues. Morgan's a young player.
Colabello has hit .519 for the season on the first or second pitches of an at-bat. He is aggressive, and he has a pretty good eye at the plate. He doesn't go up there just wailing away. He has a game plan of what he wants to accomplish. There's a changeup in there. 1-2 to Colabello. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead thanks to Devin Travis and his leadoff home run.
You'll see a few of those change-ups right there from Morgan. He's going to have to use that. He's got some pitchability, and at times he'll pitch backwards, if you will.
Colabello was on that changeup. It was up and away, but with 2 strikes he had to protect.
Pitching backwards is just in a fastball count. You throw an off-speed pitch and vice versa. So as a hitter, I think you can look out over the plate and look for something off speed from the young left-hander.
It's a steamy night here in Toronto. 30 degrees at the start of the game. It feels like 33. Well, it was hot and humid during BP. Quite a departure from what we've seen most of the season here. Colabello reaches again for an outside pitch. This baseball weather, Pat, this is what you like. Go out there and sweat, get ready.
It wasn't very pleasant for you and me because we had to wear coats and ties, and it was about 100 degrees on the field today in the sun, but the players love it. You get out here, you get some extra work in. That's right, you can get loose a lot quicker. You just feel so much better.
Breaking ball down and in. Colabello had a game-winning 2-run single against the Mariners on the road trip. Colabello hit just .231, but he had 3 RBIs. Made the most of his 3 hits. It's a high fly ball to right. Jeff Francoeur is there. Colabella's retired, 1 down. Adam Morgan, the lefty, on the mound in his rookie season, and he's up against the toughest hitting club against lefty pitching in all of baseball.
Well, they're so right-handed heavy, if you will, and that takes that breaking ball away from those left-handed pitchers. You can see where they are, average, on base, and slugging first in everything in baseball. Plus, they've got a lot of good hitters, and you mentioned it last inning, Buck, how they just don't fish for pitches off the plate.
This is Russell Martin, Blue Jays catcher. Russell had a great road trip. He had .444 on the road trip with a pair of doubles and 2 home runs. What was the difference for Martin on that road trip? What was working for him so well at the plate?
Well, he was starting to look for the ball away from him, and he was starting to shoot that ball to right field. That time he gets fooled on a changeup. He tries to spin on it and pull it, but he was thinking about up the middle the other way, letting the ball get a little bit deeper. And when he would pull the ball, I think you pull the ball by reacting to inside pitches. Your best stroke is the other way.
Well, when you stay the other way and up the middle, you have just a fraction of a second longer to determine swing or don't swing. Fastball, breaking ball. Gives you that much more time.
That's right. And that's what he has been doing. It looks like they're going away again. And I think that's playing right into Russell Martin's strength, the way he is swinging it right now.
Danny Valencia is on deck. What a swing. They stayed out there, and Martin drilled it to right. A worn-out single for the Blue Jays catcher. Second hit of the game off of Morgan.
You know, that's what scouting reports are for. When you watch a team for a week, Blue Jays were just out on the West Coast. Everything was away. He had a great road trip. Now they throw the ball out there, and again, playing right into his swing. Down and away, Russell stays right on. Watch how deep this ball gets. He doesn't go out there to get it. He lets the ball come to him. He stays over that ball and shoots it to right field for a hit.
Everything was away, and Martin cashes in. 1-out single, Danny Valencia. Valencia hit a home run off Sonny Gray out in Oakland. Dead center, misses this pitch, just gets underneath it. Left fielder doesn't see it. Cody Ashe has no idea where it is. Martin will go to second, and Ashe never saw the ball. And by the time the center fielder Revere and shortstop Blanco recognized that, they couldn't get out there. So Valencia has a hit, and that's the kind of season it's been for the Phillies.
Yeah, that kind of thing right there. You mentioned he was a third baseman, and they're putting him in the outfield because their best prospect is Franco. This ball straight up in the air. It's an easy out. You see the shortstop pointing to it, but right away, Ashe says, I have no idea where the ball is. And by the time he recovers, that's going to be a base hit. No idea.
Boy, that is a helpless feeling. And literally, he had no idea where it was. He was looking for help right off the bat, and that's the sky he has to deal with out there in left field. Sun hasn't set yet, and it's a bright, hazy day. Great opportunity for the Blue Jays to cash in. Kevin Pillar, 37 ribbies on the season.
I think the Blue Jay batters have got to stay back against this left-hander. He's going to try and use that changeup a lot. And if you start going out there to try and get the ball, you're going to roll over, you're going to hit it off the end of the bat. Stay back, let that ball come to you.
Pillar with a 3-0 count. You might let Pillar swing here with Ryan Goins, the lefty bat, on deck. I know it's unusual to give the green light to number 8 hitter, but I think Pillar has shown some discipline lately. Ball 4. That'll load the bases for Ryan Goins. Second walk of the ball game issued by Morgan.
The Blue Jays are going to try and take advantage of that. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the young left-hander for the Philadelphia Phillies, Adam Morgan. Look at the fastball, 60% of the time, and it's basically about 89 miles an hour. Remember, he had the shoulder problems where he sat out all of last year, so he's not up to his velocity where he was a few years ago at 93 or 94. He'll mix in a slider and a changeup. Changeup is a very effective pitch that he will use, and batters are hitting just 174 against that changeup and occasional curveball at 2%. So the left-hander right now got himself in some hot water. Bases loaded and just one out.
Ryan Goins this season is 3 for 4 with the bases loaded. Martin's at third, Valencia's at second, and Pilar's at first. One out. A great opportunity early in this ball game for the Blue Jays to bust it wide open. Goins getting in to the lineup because of the trade. He's at shortstop tonight.
You see Ryan hitting now. He's changed his stance just a little bit. He had a chance while Reyes was playing all that time every day that he has dropped his hands just a little bit. He's going right off of his shoulder, trying to take all the pressure out of his shoulders. You can see right there, right off the shoulder, and just pick the bat up when the pitch is on his way. And it's really helped him to stay back just a little bit more and track the ball.
It's interesting because the tension that you get when you have to hold that bat still creates some slow reaction time.
Yeah, he was up higher before, and that put a lot of tension in those shoulders, and he was really getting under a lot of balls and popping a lot of balls up to left field. Brooke Jacoby, Eric Owens feels like this way he can stay on top of the ball just a little bit more.
2-1, driven to left and deep. As he is back, he's going to make the catch. Martin tags at third, and Ryan Goins delivers the second run of the ball game. Good at bat for Goins as he cashes in Martin from third on the sac fly.
Earlier in the season, that ball, he would have popped that ball up. He would have dropped that back shoulder, and he would have just hit a lazy fly ball to left field. That time, he just stayed over it. You can see how he's a little bit more upright, and the bat head goes through the baseball. Look how deep he drives that ball the other way. He'll pick up the sacrifice fly. The Blue Jays lead this one 2-0.
2-0. Back to the top of the order. Devin Travis homered in the first.
Always making adjustments, always working, always talking to your hitting coaches. Ryan Goins gets a start tonight and gets a sacrifice fly his first time up.
Travis with a 1-1 count now.
He just missed that one, didn't he?
Had a good swing at it. He's been a pretty good clutch hitter in his rookie season. 19 for 53 with 26 ribbies. Well, this swing should serve him well against this left-handed pitcher.
Well, remember, he hit the home run on a pitch on the inner half. Now the Phillies, I bet, are going to go outside and say, okay, you can handle the ball on the inner half. Let's see what you can do on the ball away. And he hits just like Russell Martin. Ball away, he can handle it.
According to Russell Martin's hitting like Devin Travis.
I asked him today, Devin, about that, and he said, you know what, if there's one guy on this team that I like to watch and copy the swing, it's Russell Martin, the way he stands off the plate and how he works that ball the other way.
This time Travis strikes out. It looks to me like he's having trouble with his shoulder again. Those last two swings didn't look to be free and easy. So Morgan is out of it. Ryan Goins with the sac fly. The Blue Jays score a run on 2 hits, a walk, and a sac fly. They lead it 2-0.
MLB Live Tracker, get play-by-play updates, batter, hit zone charts, and real-time win percentage live during every MLB game. Access the MLB Live Tracker by clicking on any baseball game matchup on sportsnet.ca/MLB Live Tracker or through the Sportsnet app during the game. And Buck, it was during that last time out where Devin Travis was slow leaving the field. George Poulos, John Gibbons came onto the field. He was favoring that left shoulder, and ultimately the Blue Jays are looking for a new second baseman, and Danny Valencia is now stepping out onto the field. So not good news for Devin Travis. We'll keep you posted if there's any update in the game.
Rash, we saw this on his second swing in his last at bat, and then on the third swing it was really evident. And I thought that he had hurt himself. Danny Valencia was in left field. He comes in to play second base. Goins will stay at short, and Donaldson will stay at third.
And I'm sure Carrera
will probably play left.
Remember, the Blue Jays are playing short one man tonight on the bench.
LaTroy Hawkins has taken Jose Reyes' spot on the 25-man roster. Troy Tulowitzki is reportedly coming to Toronto tonight, but he doesn't have to be put on the roster, so they are players short. So Carrera will go in defensively into left. He'll bat in the #1 spot in place of Devin Travis, who has left with an apparent shoulder injury. That's the injury he dealt with. This is the second to the last swing, and watch his reaction. He is out in front, and that's the pitch that bothered him initially. You could see him grimace, the pitch that he had to reach for.
Put a little pressure on that front shoulder. Looked like he was fooled just a little bit on that changeup, and then this is the last pitch. It's a high fastball, and the swing again. You can see he can feel it once again, and that was the swing that was hurting him when he initially hurt.
Danny Valencia with a do-or-die play, and he can't come up with it. Cody Ashe is aboard with the infield hit. Swinging tapper, check swing tapper towards second.
I mean, you want that first play when you come into the ball game into a new position like Valencia, who started this game in left field. He's now at second base, but you want a little bit easier play than that. That was a tough play for Valencia.
So now the Blue Jays will make sure that they communicate to talk about defensive positioning with Danny Valencia. Andres Blanco, the shortstop. 2-0 Blue Jays, but a very disappointing start to this game because of the apparent injury to Devin Travis. He left the ball game after striking out in the bottom of the second. Big cut by Blanco.
Well, hopefully for the Blue Jays, it's nothing more than a little bit of a strain.
Well, the thing that concerns you is he took so long to come back, and it took so long to heal from the initial injury. And now see it pop up. That's the concern. And you could see Travis felt it immediately on that second swing where he reached for that off-speed pitch and felt something given his shoulder. Yeah. And that was really apparent on the strikeout.
And then when he went out there right away, John Gibbons and George Poulos went out there. They knew something was up also.
Foul ball just outside the bag at first. DJ Rayburn made a move, and Blanco's not so sure about it. The Phillies may be checking that, and Pete McCannon is going to come out. That's a line drive past the bag, and you can review this play. And now you see he's coming out to talk to Rob Drake, the home plate umpire. And they want to look at this. He's going to wait and see what he gets from his video room. That's Larry Boa. And Boa says, don't bother. It was a foul ball.
Wonder how that makes the umpires feel right there, where you say, hey, I saw it right away. Look at where that ball is. And he called it right away. This one will be telling.
That's the one thing about the Blue Jay manager's vantage point. You are sitting literally down the foul line at first base, and you have the great perspective from right where John Gibbons is sitting. See those balls hit down that first baseline. You see, that's the perspective from the Blue Jays dugout. You have the best vantage point to see fair or foul down that first baseline. 3-2, nobody out. Ashe at first. Ball's popped out of play. Cody Ashe reached on an infield hit. That's the catcher, Cameron Rupp, on deck. Second walk of the game issued by Dubrant. 2 aboard, nobody out.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful evening in Toronto. We are right next to the CN Tower and the aquarium right next door, just to the east of Rogers Center. 2-0 Blue Jays, but nobody out here in the third for the Phillies. There's a swing and a pop that's going to get into the seats down the right side. Cameron Rupp hit his first career home run back on the 23rd of June against CC Sabathia in New York. Ground ball. Donaldson to his left. Valencia at second. Back to first. Double play. Danny Valencia playing in just his third game at second this season. He's not started a game there, but he's filled in. Makes a nice turn on the 5-4-3 double play.
How about that for your second chance right there? Get the ground ball. Watch how he stays in there. Danny's a big guy. He stays in there a long time and corks that ball over to Encarnacion and then jumps out of the way. Blue Jays turn their 90th double play of the season.
Man at third with 2 outs. Back to the top of the order. Cesar Hernandez. Grounded to shortstop his first time up. Ball on the strike. Dubrant making his 4th start of the season. He made 9 starts in AAA Buffalo. For his career coming into this game in the big leagues, he's got a 29-23 record. Of course, the big talk today after the Tulowitzki trade was, I thought the Blue Jays needed pitching. Why didn't they get a shortstop? But I think you can understand it when you really think about the situation. Bouncing ball up the middle. Goins comes behind second and makes a nice play. Oh, man. Danny Valencia knew to get out of the way. He made a attempt to get there and then saw Goins and said, let me get out of the way and let this guy work. Goins getting the start at shortstop makes another fine play to end the inning and save a run for Dubrant.
Reyes was summoned to Alex Anthopoulos' office late last night. John Gibbons was there too. The manager came to wish him well. When Reyes went home, Edwin Encarnacion and Jose Bautista actually went over to his place before he left to just wish him well in his next journey. Bautista says it's bittersweet to lose a friend, and also for the chemistry. Bautista said Reyes may have been the centerpiece of all that chemistry. Of course, this Reyes for Tulowitzki deal opens up what may be a very crazy week in all of baseball, and we will have on Friday a special MLB Central trade deadline show Friday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Buck?
Thank you very much, Arash, and that's a great reminder. And Reyes did bring a lot of energy to the team every day. He was the focal point around the batting cage. He hit in Bautista and Encarnacion's group. Josh Donaldson was the 4th member of that group. And that was always a lively session of BP with Reyes involved, that's for sure.
He kept them loose, didn't he?
Well, he did.
Joking around and having some fun with his players and his teammates.
Donaldson stays on it and drills it, but it's foul. Josh Donaldson this year, interleague play, 327 average. 5 home runs and 9 ribbies. 2-1 pitch. Foul back. He's got a pretty good feel on Adam Morgan already. This is just his second at bat.
Fastball, changeup. Those are his 2 best pitches. He's going to have to paint them and put them on the corners and keep them down.
Stays on that changeup. He's out in front and hooks it foul once again. Another 2-2 pitch.
Second time through the lineup is always important, I think, and the Blue Jays do a really good job of passing information and making adjustments. It's the first time that they have seen Morgan in their career. And after a long at bat, you'll have an idea.
Breaking ball, that's popped up. It's playable. Michael Franco makes the catch in foul territory. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Well, last night was the return for Nick Markakis to Baltimore, where he had spent his entire career. And the crowd gave him a nice welcome back. Adam Jones, his center fielder for his entire career, really did a nice job of reminding the fans to acknowledge Markakis. He stood out in center field and basically said, "Take a bow, Nick." It was very cool. Jose Bautista grounded into a 6-4-3 double play his first time. Oh, he just missed this. Hit it a mile high into left field. Franco out. Shortstop gives way. Now the left fielder, Ashe, calls everybody off, and Bautista pops out to the left fielder.
How about the range of the third baseman, Franco? Michael Franco playing at third base went way down the left field line. He was actually calling that ball and then was called off by the left fielder.
Edwin Encarnacion will bat with 2 outs. Michael Franco, one of the bright spots on this otherwise disappointing season for the Phillies.
Top prospect, played in 60 games this year at third base. He's made 90 errors. Or excuse me, 9 errors over there in 60 ball games. And with a left-hander on the mound and the right-handed top-heavy Blue Jays lineup, be ready. They're going to send a lot of balls down to third base tonight.
Well, they've got 3 infielders on left side of second with the left-hander over Encarnacion. 19 home runs for the season, and he flies this one into shallow center field. That's going to drop over Revere's head, but Ashe is right there to back him up, and Encarnacion has a 2-out single.
You know, that's a case where his reputation, I think, got him that base hit right there. The outfield was playing very deep for Edwin, the center fielder Revere and the left fielder. Look how deep they are, and when he swings at it, they actually start backwards. The full cut. Revere took a couple of steps backwards, and by then it was too late. It falls for a hit for Encarnacion.
2-out single. Chris Colabello flying out to right his first time up. That was out number 1 in the second inning. Two nothing Blue Jays. Colabello goes after that first pitch and skies it to right. Francoeur over toward the line is there, and the Blue Jays will strand a 2-out single. We'll go to the 4th. Blue Jays lead it 2-0 behind Felix Dubron.
Presented by Bacardi are back. The next one on deadline day when the Blue Jays take on the Royals. Get to the ballpark early for pregame festivals outside of Gate 10. And the gates, of course, will open at 4:30. There'll even be a live performance by special guest Chad Brownlee in the licensed area. For more, go to BlueJays.com. Buck?
Thank you very much. Those are always popular among the fans when they come down to Rogers Center on Friday nights, so check it out. Right now, good night for the Blue Jays so far. Decent crowd on hand. Beautiful evening here on this Tuesday night. Phillies are in for 2. Then the Kansas City Royals with Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist. The 2 latest acquisitions for Kansas City. Didn't they win the American League last year? What are they trying to win the World Series this year?
Yeah, they're not thinking about just getting into the playoffs like they did last year. One interesting note for Blue Jay fans about Kansas City last year. Blue Jays are 50-50 after 100 games this year.
DeBrant swiped at it, may have ticked it, but Goins is there to back him up.
1 year ago at this time, the Kansas City Royals were 50-50. So there's hope for the Blue Jays.
Absolutely. The Orioles were about 500 at this time last year. They went on to win 96 games, and there are the Blue Jays records after 100 games over the last 5 seasons. 2011 they were 50-50, but they were 11.5 back. So anything is possible, and of course there's going to be a change in the landscape over the next few days as everybody's going to get involved in this trade deadline.
Everybody's going to go after it on July 23rd. Last year, Kansas City was 50-50. They were in 3rd place, 7 games back. They finished 49-23 to get into the playoffs, so we know what happened there. Does that sound familiar?
It sounds like anything's possible, that's for sure.
50-50, 3rd place, and 7 games back.
Alex Anthopoulos pulling a trigger on a deal, and to his credit, this was a deal that not many people thought about. The reality of Tulowitzki coming here to the Blue Jays as Franco takes strike 3. He has struck out once, swinging, now looking. But those deals, like the one that was pulled off by the Blue Jays last night, really kind of caught everybody off guard.
We have been talking about that for a week or so, that there's always a trade out there that comes out of nowhere and surprises the whole baseball world. And who knew it was going to be the Blue Jays?
Troy Tulowitzki and LaTroy Hawkins come to the Blue Jays for Jose Reyes, Miguel Castro, Jeff Hoffman, and Jesus Tinoco, a young pitcher at Lansing. We saw Castro this season, of course. He came up, went back, injured a finger. Now he's healthy again, pitching out of the bullpen in Buffalo, and now he's been traded to Colorado.
And
Frank Kerr with a big cut.
And like all of these types of trades where you trade major leaguers for young guys, you're not going to know who wins this trade for 2 or 3 years. Right now, the Blue Jays have won this trade. Yes, they've had an upgrade at shortstop. That's exactly what Alex Anthopoulos talks about.
Francoeur hits it in the hole. That's past Goins for a base hit. Francoeur's aboard with 2 outs here in the 4th.
He always talks about upgrading his team, and he feels like he has upgraded his team defensively and offensively with Tulowitzki.
Well, with the defense, Tulowitzki gives John Gibbons, it should improve the pitching staff, the existing pitching staff. And I like you, Pat. I think there's going to be another deal coming. You see, Ryan Goins, the shortstop, just flip-flopped with Danny Valencia, the second baseman. If you're just joining us, Devin Travis started this game and left the game before the start of the top of the 3rd with an injury.
And that is all about range. Ryan Goins having a little bit more range than Valencia, so they'll put him out in short right field with Ryan Howard at the plate and let him be a rover out there.
Howard struck out on a curveball his first time up. Oh, they got Francoeur picked up. Boy, that's something that just can't have happen. The veteran Jeff Francoeur, obviously not in a base stealing situation, got caught flat-footed by Felix Dubron. And again, this is the type of season it's been for Philadelphia. They're down by 2 with their only home run hitter at the plate, Ryan Howard, and Francoeur gets picked off to end the inning.
Sportsnet. Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful shot of downtown Toronto, a gorgeous summer evening here in Toronto. Everybody was out on the water today. Just being updated on the status of Devin Travis. He left the ball game with left shoulder irritation. Of course, that's the shoulder he injured earlier in the season. This is Russell Martin. He goes after that first pitch, a changeup, and cued it off the end of the bat. Martin and singled and scored the second run And we show Larry Bowa because these two have a relationship, and it's a very interesting relationship. Martin played for the Dodgers while Larry Bowa was a coach. And Larry Bowa, you know, he's got a little prickly edge to himself, and he says, Russell, why don't you worry about catching a little bit more? And Russell tells this story on himself as he drives this one to center, and that's off the glove of Ben Revere. Martin is headed for second, and he will stop right there. Russell Martin is 2 for 2 already tonight.
Well, he is so good when he's thinking about going the other way. His single, his first time up, went to right field, and now this one to center field off the glove of Revere for extra base hits. One more time, ball away from him. He stays right with it and drives it over the fast center fielder of the Phillies just off of his glove. That story you were just talking about, Martin, he was a young player when he first came up, and he was a fiery kind of guy, too.
He sure was, and Russell was always a great offensive player, and Bowa says, man, you're a catcher. You got to worry about pitchers. Anybody can catch when a pitcher's on his game, but you got to get that guy through 5 innings when he's struggling. And Russell just pounded his fist together and says, man, I got this bat. I'm good. But Russell learned the value of catching. And when he announced his signing with the Yankees as a free agent, he complimented Larry Bowa for giving him that little kick in the butt to remind him, hey, your job is to be a catcher first and foremost. And it's turned Russell into a terrific two-way player.
And that's what coaches do. They get on you because they want you to be a good player.
Bowa came up in a time in the mid-'60s where the Phillies were really strict on fundamentals and making sure that you had your seasoning in the minors. Larry played on a team in 1967 in Spartanburg that won 25 straight games. But they didn't promote him but in mid-season. They kept the whole team together, and then they moved as a unit up to the next level. 2-0 Blue Jays. Danny Valencia drills it deep to center. Revere's got a beat on this one. Martin's tagging at second. He's going to move up. Danny Valencia, another productive at bat.
You know, you call it strict, Buck. I call it discipline. Back in the day, where the coaches and the people in the front office, they got on you because they wanted to make you a better player.
Well, the Phillies would take that into the championships beginning in 1976 when Bowa was 30 years old, and that's when they had that great run.
And it built that discipline and that toughness that you need to play 162.
Norris Barrett, Bowa was a Gold Glove shortstop. He's managed in the majors. Infield's going to play in now with Kevin Pillar at the plate. One out, Russell Martin at third.
We will watch Martin over there at third base and see how the Blue Jays play this. If they want to try and steal a run, if they play contact, if he gets a big lead, a good aggressive lead.
This is popped up and playable. First baseman Darren Ruff makes the catch. A pop-up in foul territory, and now there are 2 outs. That's a big out for the Phillies. Pillar pops out to the first baseman. Now Blue Jays now will have to cash in with 2 outs. Brian Goins picked up a sac fly against Adam Morgan in the second. Goins has had only 11 bats in July, 3 for 11. That's his number, 273 average. Ball on the strike, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the fourth. Ezequiel Carrera came in to replace the leadoff man Devin Travis after Travis left with that shoulder irritation. Not a bad idea. Goins trying to bunt with 2 outs.
With the infield playing back, looked like he was trying to get that ball past the pitcher. Get it out towards that second baseman, just in that area, that little triangle between the second baseman, first baseman, and pitcher. Have it die right there, and you get yourself a hit and an RBI.
1-2. Goins is to battle now. Martin with the leadoff double at third. Fly ball to left field. Cody Ashley's back. He's got plenty of room. And that'll end the inning. The Blue Jays can't take advantage of the leadoff double by Russell Martin. We move to the fifth, 2-0 Blue Jays. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
To be thinking about the long weekend. As part of the long weekend in the city, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays welcome mat on Sunday when the Blue Jays play the Royals. That's 1:07 Eastern Time. 20,000 mats to be given away, Buck.
Rash, that's a lot of doormats, and that'll be a great giveaway. That's a nice looking doormat, and that's the Blue Jays fans coming over the weekend, of course. It's the long weekend, the August long weekend. So far, it's been a long 4 innings for the Philadelphia Phillies. They made a couple of base running mistakes, and as you heard from Greg Zahn in the Blue Jays Central update, your focus just isn't where it should be. And I think it's a universal problem around baseball. And, you know, the reality is Frank Coors should probably be taken out of the game for lack of focus. You got a bunch of youngsters here. They should say, you know, we can't have this happen. But most teams are carrying 7, 8 relievers. They got a short bench, and you don't have enough bodies to do it.
So you have to just keep on playing. And you're right. Back in the day, you know, you make a mistake like that, a bonehead play, the manager will, you know, make something of it and try and make a statement, take you out of the ball game.
Look at this check swing, and now DuBront's going to say that ball hit Howard.
I thought it did.
Yeah, and DuBront said it right away. He said that ball hit him. It's a foul ball. But now Rob Drake, the home plate umpire, is trying to explain to John Gibbons that hit him, and it really sounded like it hit him. Now Gibbons saying an umpire has to see this. Watch this swing.
Check swing on the inner half. Ball goes down, hits him right off the knee.
Yeah,
that's easy.
Well, it's easy if you're John Gibbons or you have the replay like we do. But now Joe West is coming in.
He said challenge it. If you think it went off his knee, challenge it.
Yeah, and that's what he's got to do here. I mean, DuBront saw it clearly. Russell Martin had to hear it because there's 2 distinct sounds. So they're not going to challenge it. They have a 2-0 lead, and here it is once again.
Clearly, they should challenge this just because of principle. That when a ball is hit like that, a check swing, and you can see the ricochet, even without the replay, something's funny. Let's just get it right.
Now, you can challenge a hit by pitch, but that's an interesting one because you can't challenge fair or foul on an infield. But Joe West, he sounded like he said, if you want to challenge it, challenge it. But I guess the Blue Jays, sensing they're up 2-0, but that's a leadoff single. Interesting. But the manager's challenge can be for a batter hit by a pitch.
Hit by a pitch, not hit by a batted ball.
Well, that's where it comes into play, I imagine, on fair or foul. And fair or foul in the outfield only. Those are the plays you can challenge. You can't challenge fair or foul on the infield.
You know, if you want to get it right, someone should have the ability to tell them, hey, you got that play wrong.
Exactly. And I think that's the next step. They should have a buzzer on the umpire's hip and say, hey, we got something for you. And, I mean, that was so obvious. Everybody saw it. But the three umpires in the field. This ball is drilled to the alley, or wouldn't you know it? This ball is going to get over Bautista's head and bounce out of play. Ryan Howard reached on that controversial check swing base hit. Now he stops at third on the double by Darren Ruff.
It changes the whole inning. Dubront's got to go out of the stretch. It might change the way he's going to pitch to him. Instead of a foul ball, maybe you get the first guy out. Now you got to deal with the guy at first. That's a breaking ball that stays over the middle plate. We told you Ruff's got some power. He had a 38 home run season in the minor leagues. At times he powers the ball to right center field, and the Phillies are in business.
Well, and Ryan Howard gets an infield hit. He's got the worst batting average in the National League against lefty pitching. So he gets a base hit, despite the fact that ball hit him after he made contact. Nobody out. Cody Ashley had an infield single, little tapper at the second baseman. It's fouled off the catcher. Blue Jays lead it 2-0. Phillies have 4 hits. Blue Jays have 5, but the Phillies are threatening here in the top of the 5th. Philadelphia has outscored their opponent since the All-Star break, 48-27 coming into this game. Swinging the bat's much better. And there's a drive deep to right. Bautista looking up over his head and off the wall. Howard's in to score. Right behind him is Ruff, and Ashley stops at second with a 2-run double, and just like that, there's the impact of that botched call to start the inning. Would have been 1 out and nobody on. Now they've got 3 straight hits, and they've tied it.
And they've tied it. You mentioned the extra base hits that the Phillies had in that series. 21 of their 40 hits in the series were for extra base hits against the Cubs, and this ball is drilled to right field. Bautista just throws the glove up there, hoping that that ball will go in. It's a line drive over his head at the base of the wall. And just like that, 3 straight hits to start the inning gets the Blue Jays bullpen going.
Ryan Tepera, the right-hander, as Pete Walker goes to the mound. So back-to-back doubles here in the 5th.
Everything set up by this ball right here. Looked like a cutter, the check swing, and you can see the ball went down, and then the next thing you knew, it ricocheted all the way out to third base. And they thought that that ball was a check swing base hit. Clearly off the knee.
RBIs 18 and 19 for Cody Ashley. Andres Blanco. Blanco's the shortstop. He walked in the 3rd inning. Dubront deserves a better fate for sure. Ashley has 2 hits. The first hit was a check swing tapper toward the second baseman, Danny Valencia. And then the Ryan Howard hit. The hits are even at 5 apiece. The game is tied 2-2.
The last 2, though, were hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Ruff to right center field, and then Ashley over the head of Bautista in right field. So that ball gets by Martin. John Gibbons and Pete Walker obviously have seen something in Dubron that they're not happy with.
As she moves to third base on the wild pitch. Now the infield has to come in halfway. You can see Gibbons saying halfway.
Yeah, just to tell the runner, hey, we're going to keep an eye on you. This ball gets away down in the dirt, and Martin cannot backhand it, keep it in front of him. You bring the infield in halfway here, just so any ball on the ground, the runner doesn't come home.
Two ball game, top of the fifth. Still nobody out. Cameron Rupp, the catcher, on deck. That's a fair ball, just inside the line down the left field line as she comes in to score. That's the third consecutive double for the Phillies. Andres Blanco picks up his 11th double and 11th RBI. And that's going to be it for Felix Dubron. And it's really unfortunate the way it unraveled here in the fifth. It all started with that controversial check swing base hit off the bat of Ryan Howard. It was a foul ball.
And wouldn't you know it, it would set the whole inning up for the Phillies and knock Felix Dubron out of this ball game.
So Dubron is out of the game. Nobody out here in the fifth. Ryan DePere will come in to face the catcher Cameron Rupp. Nobody out. He certainly deserved a better fate in this fifth inning. Looked like he had Ryan Howard hit a foul ball that was ruled a base hit, and that started the floodgates. Then three consecutive doubles by Ruff, Ashe, and Blanco, and he's out of the game just like that.
And you just had a feeling, you've seen baseball enough, when stuff like that happens, it seems to snowball. So he is now out of the game, and trying to stop that snowball rolling downhill is Ryan Tepera. 20 games this year for Tepera. He's done a pretty good job. 0-1 with a 238 earned run average. Fastball, splitter, cutter. It's a new pitch for him this year, and it's been a good one for him. It's helped him to that 238 earned run average.
Number 9 hitter is Cameron Rupp. He's the catcher. Outside. The Blue Jays will have to make a roster move tomorrow when Troy Tulowitzki is activated onto this 25-man roster. Ball is driven to center. Tagging at second, and no throw as Hernandez went back to tag, but Pilar unloads in a hurry.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Top of the 5th inning in Toronto on a gorgeous Tuesday night. Andres Blanco at second, 1 out now. Back to the top of the order. This is Cesar Hernandez batting left-handed against the right-hander Tepera. (3-2). Phillies have taken the lead here in the 5th. Pulled. Valencia at second base makes the nice play. Hernandez got down the line. 2 outs now as ball gets away, and Donaldson thought there was 3 outs. He was headed into the dugout. Been a long inning and a pitching change, and this is another thing you see all the time. Donaldson was almost to the top step of the dugout. So Howard scored the first run of the inning. That led to 3 runs for the Phillies, and they have a 3-2 lead. Ben Revere, he is a threat to bunt, so Donaldson is shortened up at third. Mentioned the Phillies are scoring runs at a much higher pace since the All-Star break. They went into the All-Star break with a -160 run differential. Obviously, that's the worst in baseball. The surprising number 2 team on that list, the Boston Red Sox, -64.
In Philadelphia, it was 160 something.
Yeah, it's been a horrible season for them.
Yeah, it has been a rough. It's cost them their manager.
Ryan Sandberg stepped down on June 26 as the manager. He resigned. His record was 26-48 at that time. They have lost some key players. They have had a lot of players underperform. So Pete Mackanin took over at that time. It's the 3rd time that Mackanin has served as an interim manager. 2-1, 2 outs. Bouncing ball. Valencia at second. The inning is over. But an interesting inning as the Phillies scored 3 runs on 4 hits, and it all started with might have been a foul ball. Ezequiel Carrero will lead things off. It'll be his first at bat. He came in defensively to take over after Devin Travis's at bat in the 2nd.
He homered his first time up, and then a couple of swings. His last 2 swings of his 2nd at bat, you can see him grimace just a little bit and then finish as he spins around, throws the helmet down. He's injured. Tried to take the field. You can see he's guarding that left shoulder. George Poulos and John Gibbons come out to take a look at it, and he says, I don't think I can go. So he is out of the ball game. Where it hurts is the upgrade that the Blue Jays have had at second base. That was his 8th home run this year. Blue Jays second baseman all of last year hit 7.
Yeah, and he missed significant time earlier with the same injury. It was characterized to us earlier tonight as a left shoulder irritation. That's why he was taken out of the game. Carrera bats for the first time. He moved into left field. Danny Valencia, the starting left fielder, moved from left to second to take over for Travis at second. Bouncing ball up the middle. Hernandez with a strong arm makes a good play.
He's going to be their second baseman. He's already had the general manager say when Chase Utley comes back, Hernandez is going to be my guy. You can see why. He's a switch hitter. He's got some speed, soft hands, a pretty strong arm right there. He's a nice looking young ball player.
Yeah, they do have some good position players, but overall they have to be patient with them and allow them to work. You can see the manager and coaches on the bench very intent on this game. It's a 3-2 Phillies lead, and this team has won 8 of their 9 games since the All-Star break. Donaldson check swing foul. LaTroy Hawkins just joined the ball club earlier this afternoon. He was acquired in that trade with the Colorado Rockies. He did not pitch in last night's game. He warmed up 3 times. This is chopped. Franco cuts in front of the shortstop. He's got a good arm. 2 down.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a short night for Adam Morgan, the starter for the Philadelphia Phillies. He gave up a home run to Travis, the second pitch of the ball game. Then he walked Donaldson. Gave up another run in the second on a couple of hits and a walk, but he has settled down nicely, starting to spin the ball a little bit better. Change speeds, get that breaking ball over early in the count.
He pitched around a leadoff double in the 4th. Russell Martin hit a double over the head of Ben Revere in center. And they moved Martin to 3rd, but he was stranded there. Jose Bautista. He can tie it up with one swing of the bat. 21 homers, 66 RBIs for the Blue Jays right fielder. Josh Donaldson and Kendrys Morales tied at number 1 in the American League with 68 RBIs. Then Bautista, 1 ahead of Mark Teixeira of the Yankees. Bautista with 6 consecutive 20 home run seasons for the Blue Jays. That's off the end of the bat. Ben Revere, the center fielder, makes the catch. Easy inning for Adam Morgan. We'll go to the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Those big green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD who received an in-stadium seat upgrade tonight. Today, you can share a video or photo showing your Blue Jays fandom by using hashtag TD Tuesday and tag @BlueJays for a chance to win. Now, meanwhile, over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, they're the guests from the Ronald McDonald House. Buck, we hope they're all enjoying tonight's game.
Perfect night to be at the ballpark, and the new Blue Jay, LaTroy Hawkins, is into the game. With Colorado, he appeared in 24 games, and this is his 1,025th Major League game of his career.
Amazing. He has been around for a long time. 24 games this year with Colorado. There are his numbers, still going strong. Fastball, breaking ball. He's got a lot of smarts that he can go to when the stuff starts to go away from him. How he has handled the left-handers this year at 208. Last time he worked was 4 days ago, so he's well rested.
Open air baseball tonight, and LaTroy Hawkins is the oldest active player in the major leagues at 42 years, 219 days. Donaldson at third, straightens up and fires a strike. Franco is retired. Hawkins played 9 years in Minnesota. He was a starter when he first came up, and he speaks to his time in Minnesota as the foundation for this illustrious 21-year career. He said, "I had great mentors in Minnesota, including the manager Tom Kelly, but players like Kirby Puckett told you to respect the game, always come ready to play, and make sure you give it everything you have."
And so you take that. That's the great thing about baseball, from generation to generation, if you will. They just pass that knowledge on to the young kids, and the young players down in that bullpen for the Blue Jays have a couple of months to learn of something from a guy who's been around the game a long time.
He has said before the start of this season this was going to be his final season. There are some youngsters down there that can pick up a lot from LaTroy Hawkins. Jeff Franco bounces it toward Donaldson. He'll make the grab, throws on the run. What a nice play. 2 ground ball outs to third.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Troy Hawkins can sink the ball against right-handers, which he does to Francoeur. And here comes Josh Donaldson, who gets off a strong and accurate throw to get the second out of the inning.
He knew he had a little more time right there with the right-hander running. We have seen him barehand that ball an awful lot this year. Not the case on Francoeur.
I got the impression after watching that replay that he thought about barehanding it right there, and then right at the last second went with the glove, which is the right call.
This is Ryan Howard. He got it all started in the 5th against Dubrun with that check swing base hit. Fouls it back. The Blue Jays are the 11th team that Troy Hawkins has pitched for. Inside strike. He spent 9 years with the Twins, 3 years with the Rockies, 2 different stints with Colorado. He was part of that World Series team in 2007 in Colorado. 1-2, 2 outs. Nice start to his Blue Jay career. Retires a side in order and punctuates it with a strikeout of Ryan Howard. LaTroy Hawkins, welcome to the Blue Jays. Howard late on this inside pitch. Hawkins still can locate that fastball.
Long weekend in the city. The first 20,000 fans on the holiday Monday will receive a Russell Martin bobblehead. The Blue Jays and the Twins, part of the Civic Holiday long weekend. That's a 107 start, Buck, on Monday.
That is a very good-looking bobblehead. Russell Martin with his catcher's gear on. Beautiful moon high over Toronto as the Blue Jays trail the Philadelphia Phillies 3-2. Bottom of the sixth. Encarnacion, Colabello, and Russell Martin for the Blue Jays against Adam Morgan. There's a drive. This one's off the end of the bat. That's going to hook foul.
You know, that's been the key, I think, for Morgan as he gets to the middle innings here, is he's keeping the ball off the barrel of the bat. They just have not been able to hit the ball hard against them. Not a lot of solid contact since that home run by Travis.
Off speed pitch hit on the ground. Encarnacion grounds up. Blue Jays really haven't been able to square up Adam Morgan. The Russell Martin double was hit over the center fielder's head. The home run by Devin Travis, first batter of the bottom of the first, and other than that, just kind of line drives, nothing real special.
Yeah, we had the line drive to right field by Martin his first time up. The double was hit hard to center field. Danny Valencia's hit was a ball that was lost in the sky. And that's the art of pitching, keeping the batters off balance. And that's what he has been doing here through 5 1/3.
We know that you don't have to light up the radar gun to be successful. We see it every time Mark Burley pitches. This is a high fly ball, not that deep. Frank Coeur, the right fielder, gets over there and makes the catch. Russell Martin's 2 for 2 already.
8 in a row that he has sent down now. Last guy to reach was Russell.
Russell is 10 for his last 18 going back to that last road trip. Average up to 264. He hits a high fly ball into center. Revere, the center fielder, calls for it. Adam Morgan breezing through the sixth. Took him just 5 pitches to set down the side in order. We'll go to the seventh. The Blue Jays are down by a run, 3-2 Philadelphia. Brett Cecil.
At the Letters are here at the ballpark, and they've been all over the Reyes for Tulowitzki trade. SportsCent's weekly Blue Jays podcast with hosts Ben Nicholson, Smith, and Arden Swelling features analysis, opinions, and interviews available to download every Tuesday on iTunes and sportsnet.ca.
Certainly a lot going on around the Blue Jays right now, and you can bet there's going to be more news before the week is over. This is Brett Cecil taking over after LaTroy Hawkins had a 3-up, 3-down inning in the 6th.
There are the numbers for Brett Cecil and his 36 games, 2-4 with a .418 earned run average. How about the reverse splits? The right-handers hitting just .218 this year against Brett, and the lefties .314. That's a little bit of a surprise. He possesses a pretty good curveball that he gets a lot of strikeouts with.
It'll be Ruff, Ashe, and Blanco for Philadelphia here in the top of the 7th. We talked to Jeff Francoeur before the game, and he had talked about the mindset of the Phillies coming out of the All-Star break, and he encouraged them to be aggressive. We've seen it all night long. They're up there hacking.
Yeah, he was saying that the best pitch you might get might be the first pitch of the at-bat, or the first 2 pitches of the at-bat. No sense going up there taking 2-0 fastballs right down there trying to work the count. You know what I think it does too is when you're aggressive, I think in your mind you're ready to hit. You're ready to do some damage if you think swing early in the count.
Hot shot. Donaldson handles it easily. In time. 1 down.
It's almost like a pinch hitter who comes off the bench. If he's got that mindset, I'm going to be aggressive early in the count.
That is Cole Hamels, and he is still here with the Philadelphia Phillies. Hamels has been the subject of a lot of trade talks, and he's got a lengthy contract. Hamels pitched a no-hitter on Saturday, beat the Cubs 5-0. Had 13 strikeouts in that game. That improved his record to 6-7. And he has been talked about ever since these trade talks began. It was the 13th no-hitter in Phillies history. And it was really interesting because it's the first no-hitter against the Cubs since Sandy Koufax in '65. A span of 7,920 games between no-hitters against the Cubs at Wrigley. And Cole Hamels, he's still here. We mentioned that because Jonathan Papelbon was supposed to be here. And they have announced a trade, Papelbon to the Nationals. Well, she strikes out. 2 down. There's going to be a lot more discussions about the rumors and potential trades, and we'll have that all for you on Friday. It all starts at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Sportsnet. We'll have all our baseball experts in to talk about what's going to happen or what has happened and evaluate the impact of those trades. Interesting time for everybody in baseball. Of course, all the Blue Jay fans are anxious to see what shoe is going to drop next.
You mentioned that Papelbon trade. They got a Canadian pitcher in that deal.
There's a line drive to center. Pilar got a good read and makes the catch. That is a right-hander, Nick Pivetta. He was traded to Phillies. Cecil, just 8 pitches. He retires as side and order. Valencia will lead things off when we come back.
Fantasy Camp, November 15th to 20th in Dunedin. Robbie Alomar, George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and many more will be there for the ultimate Major League experience. The package includes airfare, hotel, meals, uniform, and 4 days of baseball. Now, spots are limited, so check it out at bluejays.com/fantasycamp. Buck, I was disappointed that Pat Tabler's name wasn't on that list of former Jays.
Yeah, we were all disappointed Pat Tabler's name wasn't on that list, and I'm sure he will be included when the final roster is made up of the alumni. This is Janmar Gomez making his 43rd appearance of the season as Adam Morgan. Boy, he's settled down. He retired 10 in a row before they lifted him here. Got stronger and stronger as the game went on. They're going to turn it over to their bullpen. 42 games for Gomez this year. You can see the earned run average at 223. He gets a lot of ground ball outs. He doesn't throw hard. He's 90, 91 miles an hour, but that two-seam fastball and the four-seamer, he'll get a lot of ground balls, throws a lot of strikes. Bottom third of the order for the Blue Jays. They're down by a run here in the seventh. Anyway, Valencia, Pilar, and Goins. Adam Morgan gave up a home run to the first batter he faced tonight. Gave up a run in the second, but boy, he put on the brakes quickly after that second inning, and he leaves after retiring the last 10 he faced. Gomez is from Venezuela. He's 27 years old. He signed originally by the Phillies. He was signed by the Phillies, as a minor league free agent in January this year. We saw it with Cleveland one time, and didn't we see him with Pittsburgh? Yes. 13 and 14, he spent time with Pittsburgh. 3-0. Right down Broadway. It's an interesting bullpen that the Phillies have. -1 player tonight, Jonathan Papelbon. Papelbon traded to the Nets. Phillies bullpen has been good over their last 8 games. That's a tough pitch down and away. The bullpen for Philadelphia 4-0 with a 153 earned run average over their last 8 games. And they've got some hard throwers at the back end now. Papelbon's out, so they've got Giles and Diekman, who can really bring it. One a lefty and one a righty. Diekman's the left-hander. So this is a big inning, I think, for the Blue Jays right here. Well, the Blue Jays lean heavily on the home run, and Gomez has allowed just 1 home run over his last 86 1/3 innings. You can see why with that good downward movement with that slider. It's again, it's not real hard, but he keeps it down. Look at all those pitches low. That ball was hit sharply to the third baseman, Franco. In time, Valencia's retired. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Yankees enter play tonight up 7 games over the Orioles and the Blue Jays. The Yankees have won 3 in a row. Baltimore's won 3 in a row. But you can't let the Yankees get too far out in front. That sounds like the game plan against the Yankees in a game. Don't let them get it too far out in front early because of that bullpen. Their bullpen has been ridiculous. The Yankees, they have concerns about their starting staff too. Capuano out of the game after 2/3 of an inning, charged with 5 earned runs on 3 hits and 5 walks. That's why these trade deadline deals are so difficult to pull off, because everybody's looking for the same thing. Who's going to blink? Bouncing ball. Pilar is out by a half a step. 2 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Aaron Sanchez and Liam Hendricks are both up and loosening for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have used 3 relievers already tonight. This is the first game of a 10-game homestand and an off day yesterday.
Yeah, first game of 13 in a row for the Blue Jays.
16 of their next 19 games will be played here at Rogers Center, and that bodes well for the Blue Jays. The only 3 games away will be 3 games in New York against the Yankees. Boy, that thing is a dive bomber down and away to Goins. 1-2 to the shortstop.
I mentioned that two-seamer that he has. He also will throw a slider. He's got a changeup that's got like a splitter type of action on it where it tumbles towards the plate.
Another bouncing ball. Gomez takes his time, in time, and he is through the 7th inning. 3 ground ball outs for Gomez. They'll go to the 8th. Rupp, Hernandez, and Revere. They'll face Liam Hendricks when we come back.
Midweek matinee tomorrow in St. Pete's when the Tigers meet the Rays. It's a noon start. Chris Archer and Justin Verlander will get after it underneath the roof. Detroit and Tampa tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Buck.
Tigers are 3 games under 500 going into play tonight, and there's been talk, well, Tigers are going to be sellers. Dave Dombrowski says, no, we're not. We're looking for pitching help. We're still in this thing.
David Price start that game tonight?
Yes.
I think he is, and he's losing to Tampa Bay. And the 4th inning, Liam Hendricks will take over now. He will become the 4th reliever, 5th pitcher for the Blue Jays tonight. There are his numbers in 33 games this season. A whip of .097. That is excellent. Liam has always been a strike thrower. He's only issued 6 walks this season.
Number 9 hitter for the Phillies is the catcher, Cameron Rupp. Cameron Rupp catching tonight. Carlos Ruiz is the regular catcher. Good high fastball from Hendricks. 3-2 ball game. We're in the 8th. Felix Jabrant started and was out of the ball game after the 4th inning. He faced 4 batters in the 4th, didn't retire about it. And gave up a questionable base hit. Ryan Howard had a check swing. The ball hit Howard after it hit the bat. when it was ruled an infield hit, and then 3 consecutive doubles, and Dubront was out of the game.
And right away, I mean right away, Felix and Russell Martin, the catcher, said that ball hit the catcher.
Yeah.
And nobody saw it, which was shocking.
Yeah, and the umpires in the field, crew chief Joe West was at second. He came in and had a discussion with John Gibbons. Up takes strike 3. Hendricks gets the strikeout. 1 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Cesar Hernandez, the shortstop, has grounded out 3 times tonight. Twice to the shortstop, once to the second baseman. This is a foul ball down the left side. Blue Jays bullpen has not allowed a hit to Pera, Hawkins, Cecil. They haven't walked a batter, and with the strikeout, now they have 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, they haven't allowed a base runner since Tepera came in that 5th inning.
Buried in the dirt. The Blue Jays bullpen has pitched much better of late. They're 3rd in the American League in strikeouts per 9 innings for the season. They have struck out over 9 per 9 innings. We've got a lot of guys that can rack up some strikeouts down there.
And it's only going to get better with Aaron Sanchez down there now.
For the season, Blue Jays bullpen in ERA is ranked 7th in the American League. They are 5th in hits per 9 innings. Sanchez has warmed up tonight. That's why he's got that jacket over his right shoulder. There's another strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hendricks.
Everybody's starting to find their niche down in that bullpen and where they're going to be. This is an elevated fastball. Little 4-seam action right here from Liam Hendricks. After a couple of sliders down, he elevates that fastball and picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Ben Rivera takes a first pitch strike. Luis Garcia standing by, appears to be ready down in that Phillies bullpen. Hendricks is really making some good pitches here in the top of the 8th.
They've had some quick innings. Hawkins, Cecil, Tepera, now Hendricks not throwing a lot of pitches. Very crisp tonight.
Tepera threw 8 pitches, Hawkins threw 8, Cecil threw 8, Hendricks has thrown 13. 1-2. He laid off. Tempting, but he wouldn't chase.
95 miles an hour. That's been the biggest difference this year from Liam Hendricks than the player we saw last year when he was a starter. Had to work through those 6 innings. Just didn't have that type of fastball last year.
This is lifted into center. Pilar calls for it. Bullpen has done their job. They've been perfect. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays trail by a run. Luis Gomez will come into the ball game. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Second pitch of the ball game by Philadelphia starter Adam Morgan is sent wayward by Devin Travis. He gets inside that ball and drills it down the left field line for his 8th home run of the season. With the Blue Jays on top 1-0 in the first inning, and for Travis, that is our drive of the game.
The unfortunate aspect is that Devin Travis left after his second at bat when he struck out, and he is left with left shoulder irritation. Luis Garcia into the ball game in relief of Gomez. We're in the 8th.
Garcia will set up now. It's an interesting guy. He was signed out of independent ball in 2013. He's actually out of organized baseball in 2011. He's a sinker slider type of pitcher. A 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Left-handers this year are hitting over 300 against him, so this is a big at bat for Carrera. Get something started for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the inning.
Breaking ball called, strike 3. Look down and in, and Carrera says, man, that was inside. Rob Drake, the home plate umpire, rings him up. The Phillies have retired 13 straight Blue Jays now. They can't get anything going.
You know, when you would talk about the Phillies and they've got a terrible record, it's been awful this year. The bullpen is one area that's been a strength for them.
Josh Donaldson takes a first pitch strike.
I was looking at some of the numbers for the pitchers out of the bullpen today, and the one thing that I noticed is they throw a lot of strikes. They don't walk a lot of players.
Donaldson bounces it to short. Big hop. Blanco throws it across the diamond in time. 2 down.
F and Nora finally get to see their lethal virus in action. Will it be enough? Find out in a new episode of The Strain, Sunday at 10 Eastern and Pacific, only on FX.
2 down. Jose Bautista will step in. Bautista 0 for 3 tonight. Blue Jays have managed just 2 runs on 5 hits. Phillies have 3 runs on 6 hits. 97, but up and away. Another bouncing ball. Shortstop Blanco calls for it. Bautista hurt himself. He's grabbed the back of his right leg in the hamstring area. That's not a good sign. He'll try to walk it off. It's a hot, muggy night here. Maybe a little dehydration setting in, and Bautista will walk back toward the Blue Jays dugout. The Blue Jays go down in order in the bottom of the 8th. Take a look at this swing. Bautista hits that fastball, and then as he makes his way out of the batter's box, even before, he felt something in the back of that right leg.
Season game live or on demand in true HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and much more. MLB.TV Premium includes a free At-Bat 15 subscription, so you can watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription packages are available. You can visit BlueJays.com for more details.
Been a rough night for the Blue Jays. Devin Travis left after his second at-bat. Now Jose Bautista is going to be leaving this ball game. He had something occur to the back of his leg as he hit. Russell Martin moves from the catcher's position to second base, taking over at second because the Blue Jays have to shift everything around. Valencia was playing second base after the Travis injury. He moves back to left field where he started the game. And Ezequiel Carrera moves from left to right. He entered the game in the third inning after Travis left. Behind the plate is Deanna Navarro, who will take over for Martin. The Blue Jays down to one bench player. That's Justin Smoke.
So if you're keeping score at home, Navarro goes in Bautista's spot in the batting order. And Navarro's going to throw a couple balls to make sure he's nice and loose. You see him out in front of home plate making some throws with Encarnacion. And players are allowed to have that when they just enter a ball game. This is the last swing right there from Bautista, and he pulled something, felt something as he finished that swing, and he's pointing and feeling that right hamstring.
Yeah, and it's up high, and obviously we don't know the extent of it. It could be a cramp, it could be a muscle pull. No reason to speculate, but he's out of the ballgame.
I'll tell you, baseball can change on a dime, can it?
Yes, it can. Within the body of a game, within the body of a week. Michael Franco, he likes to swing the bat. He's 0 for 3 tonight with a couple of strikeouts.
Blue Jays have been on the phone a lot lately. The front office and the scouts and the coaches, everybody meeting. They're probably going to have a meeting after tonight's ball game to decide what they're going to do with this roster for tomorrow. They
have to make one roster move without question. That's to get Troy Tulowitzki on the active roster. Devin Travis left the game in the third with an apparent shoulder injury. Now Bautista's out here in the ninth. And they've used 4 relievers tonight as well, although they've not thrown many pitches. Tepera, Hawkins, Cecil all threw 8 pitches in their 1 inning of work. Hendricks has thrown 17. He's working for the second inning.
So the first thing they're going to have to do is find out the extent of the injuries to the 2 players who had to leave tonight's ball game. And if they're out a day or 2, they can't play short, can they?
No.
They're going to have to make some kind of move.
Yeah, they'll have to make a move, and whether that move is to bring up an extra position player and play a pitcher short down at the pen, which they might do now. So this is ongoing. Tony LaCava on the left in the top row next to Alex Anthopoulos, and they're communicating about the roster. Who's pitching in AAA, who's pitching in AA, who can we add to this roster, how can we overcome these potential DL moves. I mean, there is a possibility.
Absolutely there is. That's why they have to find the extent of the injury. That's Charlie Wilson right there, the farm director, sitting right in front of Alex Anthopoulos. I'm sure they're going to be in discussion about what's going on in the farm system.
2-2. It can be as simple as a phone call to AAA. Say, get so-and-so out of the game. We don't know what's going to happen, but take him out of the game. We don't want to risk the possibility of him getting hurt in AAA. So those are the types of conversations you have. Whether it's Pompey with the possibility of Bautista being hurt significantly, we don't know. There's no reason to speculate, but I can tell you what the conversations are. Franco strikes out. That's the 3rd time he has struck out. That breaking ball in the dirt gets him 3 strikeouts for Hendricks. Go back to the 2nd inning after Travis homered in his first at bat. He fouls off this pitch, and you can see him react to that left shoulder.
And then he finishes it, and anytime a guy twirls around like that, he's feeling some kind of pain in the shoulder. He's trying to hold it back just a little bit, George Poulos, John Gibbons go out there to talk to him, and right away he says, you know what, there's something going on at my shoulder. Let's take a look at this. Sure, they'll have an MRI or an X-ray or something to get some kind of definitive answer on the problem there.
Well, and the problem you have is sometimes with those injuries, you don't know the full extent of the injuries until the next day. I mean, with a muscle injury especially, might not tighten up till the next day, and you might not really understand the extent of the injury. This is Jeff Francoeur, the right fielder.
Well, what I do understand is they can't play short.
Nope.
They're doing that tonight with only 3 bench players.
Francoeur has gone 1 for 3, lined out, single, then grounded out. Liam Hendricks with a 1-2 count. Fouled up. Francoeur is just 31 years old. He was a non-roster invitee into spring training. He's had an interesting career. He came up with the Braves in 2005 and hit 370 games as a rookie. With 14 home runs in that half season, and came back with a 29 home run season in 2006.
I saw him when he was a young player, a minor leaguer. He could really run. He was a center fielder in the Braves organization, and you just saw power and speed from Frenchie when he was a young player.
He could really throw too.
Yes.
He had a terrific arm. He and Brian McCann were great friends. They played Little League together, and they came up with the Braves together. 1-2, 1 out. And Francoeur strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Liam Hendricks. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Eleven runs in the second inning, huh, Jamie? Martin Perez, he didn't fare so well. 8 earned runs in just an inning plus. And the Yankees, I'll tell you what, they're on fire. Chase Headley's 2 more hits tonight, 2 more RBIs. Alex Rodriguez, he's picked up another RBI. Rodriguez has 60 RBIs this season. The Yankees have scored 11 runs on 10 hits.
Homered on his birthday yesterday.
That was an interesting home run. He homered on his 40th birthday, and he becomes one of the great trivia question answers in all of baseball. There are 4 players now that have homered as teenagers and homered as a 40-year-old. A-Rod, of course.
A-Rod, all right, I'll guess A-Rod number 1. Ty Cobb did it. I know that.
Ty Cobb, Rusty Staub, and Gary Sheffield. Home runs as teenagers and home runs as 40-year-olds.
See, I would have guessed Ken Griffey Jr. for sure. But I'm not sure Griff played when he was 40 years old. Did he?
I don't think he played into his 40s.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
Howard swings and misses. It's 2-2. Darren Rupp, the first baseman, is on deck. He has walked, doubled, and scored. 3-2, 2 outs. Strike 3. Howard caught looking at strike 3. The Blue Jays bullpen has been perfect through 5 innings. Hendricks has 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. Edwin Encarnacion will lead things up. Then Chris Colabello and Russell Martin. The Blue Jays need a run to tie.
Rogers Internet 30 and basic TV bundle for only $62.97 a month for the first 3 months. To find out how, call 1-888-ROGERS-1.
Gorgeous night here at Toronto's Rogers Center. The roof is open. New pitcher of the game is Ken Giles, and Pat, both of these bullpens have been stingy tonight.
I don't think they've given up a hit. They have not. No hits, no runs. Ken Giles will come in now. He's going to take over as the closer from the Phillies after Jonathan Papelbon was traded. You saw his number. He's a big strikeout type of pitcher. Big fastball and a big breaking ball.
Edwin Encarnacion takes strike 1. The bullpens have been terrific. The Blue Jays bullpen, 5 perfect innings for the Blue Jays. Liam Hendricks has 5 strikeouts in 2 innings.
Let's see. The Phillies bullpen haven't given up a base runner, and the Blue Jays bullpen hasn't given up a base runner.
0-2. Hard slider, 90 miles an hour, but well outside.
That last fastball that Encarnacion fouled back was 99 miles an hour.
Jonathan Papelbon was the closer at the start of this game, but then he was traded to Washington. Breaking ball as Edwin gets it and stays alive. The Blue Jays down by a run. They had a 2-0 lead, and then a very unusual inning for the Phillies in the 5th. Ryan Howard started it with a very controversial base hit. He had a check swing tapper go off his knee and trickle into fair territory to start the inning. John Gibbons came out to contest the call, but it was upheld on the field. They didn't review it. And then 3 straight doubles, and the Phillies scored all 3 of their runs.
Blue Jays were in the shift, and when it went off of his knee, it went down the third base line for an easy infield hit, and then the whole thing caved in after that. Pretty good at bat right now from Edwin.
He's capable of putting up great at bats. 2-2 pitch. High slider. Full count. Chris Colabello waits on deck.
Giles has the big fastball. Let's see if he's going to challenge Edwin with it.
He did. Triple digits for Giles as Encarnacion fouls it straight back.
1 under. Told you he's got a big fastball.
That would qualify.
The thing about the fastball is it's pretty straight. There's not a lot of movement with it. It comes right over the top, so he's going to have to throw it in a good spot even though he throws it that hard.
Slider, base hit for Edwin. He stayed on it, and Giles, after throwing that 100-mile-an-hour fastball, throws a slider, and Encarnacion is aboard. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. Thank you very much, Ivanka. That's all coming up right after this game. That is Drew Hutchison taking over as a pinch runner at first base. He represents the tying run. Hutchison has been a pinch base runner in the past. Chris Colabello goes after the first pitch. Colabello is 0 for 3. The Blue Jays have 6 hits. They have matched the Phillies in that department. Encarnacion has 2 of those 6 hits.
First hit for the Blue Jays since that 4th inning. If you think Giles gives up home runs, he doesn't give up many. He's only given up 1 this year with that big fastball in 43 innings. Love to see one right now.
Blue Jays have had 4 walk-off wins this season. Going to stay in the park. Hutchison is halfway at first, and Colabello is retired on the fly to center. One out. Russell Martin 2 for 3 tonight. Single and a double. He's scored a run. First pitch slider catches the outside corner. Martin has 1 at bat against Giles, 0 for 1. And right back with another good slider.
It's in a good spot right there. Now the outfield's got to play deep. No doubles, nothing over your head. Look at the left fielder. That's Ashe and Revere in center field. Almost to the warning track.
Russell Martin drives it deep to right. Grandcour's back at the track, makes the catch. 2 down.
You know, and that is why you play your outfield deep just like that. You don't want any ball over your head. That's extra bases, and that tying run and winning run will get into scoring position. Drew Hutchison's got to pick up on that and realize that they're playing deep, so a single, he can go to third base on that.
Justin Smoke, the Blue Jays' best pinch hitter, loosening up. Danny Valencia started this game at left. Valencia is 1 for 3.
You can't pinch hit for him because you pinch ran for Edwin Encarnacion. If they tie it up, Smoke's got to go in and play first.
Blue Jays are short a position player tonight, with Reyes being traded to Colorado and Tulowitzki not added to the roster just yet. Ball and a strike to Valencia. There's that slider again. Valencia has 7 home runs this season, 5 of them against right-handed pitching. And the knock on him has been he's a much better hitter against lefties. This year he's held his own against the righties. 275 average. 1-2, 2 outs. Valencia hits it to short. They'll go to second. That's the ball game. The Phillies beat the Blue Jays 3-2 in game 1 of this 2-game series. They improved to 9-1 since the All-Star break.
Yeah, pitching it better. They're playing better defense, and they just scored in 1 inning tonight, but it was enough to beat the Blue Jays.
Phillies are playing with a lot of confidence right now. As we mentioned, 9 wins. That ties them with the Giants for the most wins since the All-Star break. We'll be right back at it tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. It'll be Jerome Williams against R.A. Dickey. Stay tuned. Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Enabonka.